After reading several self-help books and several research publications, I can attest to the fact that this book right here, written by George S. Clason, is one of the most timeless books when it comes to finance and building wealth. In this video, we'll be sharing 6 time-tested principles on how to build wealth and sustain them with reference to the richest man in Babylon. The ancient city of Babylon was noted for one thing, that was wealth and strength. Now, in the richest man in Babylon, there are several references to several things that happened in the city of Babylon. However, in today's video, we're just following the advice of the richest man in Babylon, who happens to be Akkad. Now, Akkad was directed by the king of Babylon to give direction or to educate 100 men out of Babylon on how they can go on to build and sustain wealth. The first thing that Akkad advises people to do is that they should set aside at least 1/10 of your income. Now, this can go in the form of savings in today's world, and it is very difficult for people to save, especially when a recent finding has made it clear that over 70% of all Americans that earn over $100,000 feel like they live paycheck to paycheck. Now, it's not easy to set aside an amount of money, of course, with consideration to inflation and everything that is going on in the economy. However, you can start from 5%, 2%, or even 1% if that is clear for you. All that matters is that you discipline yourself to stick to the rule of saving or earning something and then putting something at the side. This Akkad believes goes on to buttress the fact that a portion or a proportion of everything that you earn at the end of each month is yours to keep. So this is a principle, and this is what you need to know. He further advises that you repeat to yourself in the noon, in the morning, and in the night before you go to bed that at least 1/10 of every single thing that you bring in, be it income or revenue, is yours to keep. Stop paying other people, stop paying the bills and making other people rich, whilst you yourself have got nothing to fall back on in times of need. Second principle that Akkad actually goes on to advise us to take critical look at is expenses. So he advises that we need to be sure and we need to be certain that what do we classify as needs and what do we classify as wants. Now, if you're able to separate these two, it makes it very easier for you to manage your finances. It is very difficult sometimes because it is very confusing. Sometimes you feel like, okay, I need X amount of clothes, and that feels like a need. Whereas it might actually be a want because you've got several other pairs that you can wear, or you might have several desires that you might want to pursue. These things might give you joy, but what you need to know is that when it comes to wealth creation, when it comes to building wealth, there's one thing that you need to take notice of. You need to make sure that you keep your expenses below your income. And so the popular phrase of keeping up with the Joneses must always be highlighted. And you need to be disciplined, more importantly, to ensure that you make sure that you live within your means and you have enough saved and enough to fall back on in times of need. This is what Akkad actually advises. Thirdly, Akkad believes that saving money or putting money aside at the end of the month is not enough for you to realize your long-term goals. However, he goes on to advise that you need to put your money to use. You need to make sure that the money that you've saved is put into a profitable venture that eventually rakes in or brings in some form of returns, which eventually pushes you or propels you towards the attainment of your long-term financial goals. The fourth advice that we need to take notice of from Akkad is that we need to guard our money or our returns from loss. Now, on social media, there's several ads running on our platforms that actually promises X amount of money when you put in Y amount of money. What you need to know is that protecting your investment or protecting your hard-earned money is also a form of income. Because believe it or not, there are several people out there who only want to make money off your backs by promising to teach you X amount of courses that would bring in Y amount of returns over a 6-month period, over a 2-day period and all that. These people have got no idea what they're doing. Sometimes, I'm not saying all of them, but most of them are just selling you a dream that is non-existent. They're trying as much as possible to milk you of your hard-earned money. Now, Akkad faced a similar challenge in the book The Richest Man in Babylon. He went on to lend money to a brickmaker, and the brickmaker went on to trade in jewelry. He had no idea about jewelry, so when he brought all these jewelry and all these clothing back to Babylon for them to sell and realize a profit, they realized that those goods were worth nothing. And so they ended up losing their hard-earned money and ended up losing their profit altogether. The fifth point that we need to take consideration of is the fact that Eckhart advises that we need to increase our ability to earn. And Warren Buffett rightly puts it that the best investment is in yourself. You need to try as much as possible and educate yourself on the need to invest and on savings mechanisms or anything that can take you a step closer to your financial decision. Now, educating yourself would help you to make more informed decisions, and more importantly, motivate you and take you several steps closer to your goals. Now, education is the best thing that you can think of when it comes to investment. More often than not, when people talk about investment, they're only looking at putting money or putting resources in X amount of shares or buying this portfolio or doing this and all that. The truth is that the best investment is in yourself. You need to read books, you need to listen to podcasts, you need to try as much as possible and broaden your scope and your knowledge on things before you go on to commit your hard-earned money to them. Now, lastly, contrary to all the views that have been shared by several experts in this modern day world, Eckhart believes that in order for you to find that financial stability and eventually attain your financial goals, you need to make sure that you own a home. So this, he believes, would grant you not only a peace of mind, but would also help you to focus on the all important things that you need to do in order to achieve all these goals. So there you have it. These are the 6 time-tested principles from the richest man in Babylon that we believe till today are still relevant to you when it comes to pursuing your goals, your savings, your investments, and trying as much as possible to work on that definite chief aim and the purpose of becoming financially free. Thank you.